Hey everybody, this is Double Cross Anime. I don't know whether my microphone is working edition. Episode 69, right?
Well,
Yeah, that's right.
69, and I can still hear you very fine. So whether or not your microphone is working or not, um, doesn't affect me much.
Well, yeah, but it might affect like whether or not we can edit these two parts together, If it
Yep,
looks like my voice is being picked up, but
yep.
anyways, uh no mix this week. I realized just a couple hours ago that it was on hiatus.
Mm-hmm,
But we still have Fire Force episode 11. Vinland Saga is back with episode 10. We've got two more episodes of Kyoso Giga, 5 and 6,
mm-hmm.
and four episodes of Heidi, taking
Yep,
us up to episode 44.
that's right.
So what are we doing here? What are we starting with?
Um, Up to you.
Well, we only have two choices for non-classic series.
Yep.
Which one did you watch, more recently?
More recently, that would be Five Force.
All right, I guess we can just start with that since it's fresh for both of us.
All right.
I thought this episode was pretty good, actually.
Really? Like, yeah.
Well, it's more about backstory of how Company 8 come into function.
That's true. But there was also the captain of Division 7 or Company
Yep,
7.
yep.
In the previous episode, we had that whole captain's meeting.
Mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm,
and we were both kind of like, oh, well, this is just a silly, shonen type of thing where they trot out a whole bunch of different character designs and none of them are going to get any real depth or exploration.
mm-hmm,
And I wouldn't say that the captain character from Division 7, like, I wouldn't say he's got a super um, believable and realistic and like refreshing personality or anything, or
mm-hmm.
life that we can sink our teeth into. But he's cool,
Yeah, he's cool.
dude. His
Um,
his power with the I looked up what those were. They're called matois.
yep.
Uh, that was dope.
Actually, like the song that he chanting while he doing the ritual, so to speak, reminded me a lot of the show that we just watched a few seasons
Kyoso
ago.
Giga.
Uh, no, new Ikuhara show.
Sarazanmai.
Yep, Sarazamai. They had
Why
like
did that remind you of
the
Sarazanmai?
because they singing something about I don't remember like what they chanting about now, but it is something about like hayo hayo or something. It's like the song itself.
Hiya
Yeah. So
Soya
yeah. So yeah.
Soya.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that as well.
Yeah.
They have that in Sarazamai.
Yeah, I think that's like a traditional Japanese chant, I suppose.
Mm.
That people do at festivals and stuff,
Yep.
matsuris. Um, yeah, so that was going on in there as well. Because like the matois, I looked up what they were online, and apparently firefighters in Japan used to use them. Like they like waved them back and forth to signal to other firefighters. This was before radio communication, I guess. That there was a
Uh,
fire.
all right. All right.
Now they only have like ceremonial use.
Yep.
Maybe perhaps priests use them, and like people who are celebrating something in Japan on a festival weekend will use them if they're part of a procession. But like the way that he uses them to create and like control fire is just like, I mean, it's obvious that the creative team really has a lot of love for this character
Mm-hmm.
given what they put into his scenes. Like even when he's just standing around and his hair is blowing in the wind, it looks
Mm-hmm.
like silky. It looks
Mm.
good.
Yep. And I think like the difference between Division 7 and any others division companies is that they don't believe in the they do more like traditional performance, so they don't believe
Uh, in the church at all.
Yeah. That's true. And he really looks down on Division 8 and all the other divisions, all the other companies, thinking that they're like imperialist dogs.
Mhm.
And I thought it was interesting to note that Shinra says to him, like, you're the strongest. You're the strongest member of the Special Fire Force. You forced the capital, all the big shots, let's say, who are in power in Imperial Tokyo. You forced them to recognize you and your strength and your unit that you've created.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I thought it was interesting that, well, I mean, I suppose it makes sense that Shinra would then say, okay, well, now I'm going to beat you up, and everyone's going to acknowledge my strength, and you're going to
Yep.
you're going to cooperate with our investigation. I guess it makes sense that he would say that, but it's kind of cool that there exists a character who is like Shinra 10.0.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like who an extension of his character, who he would be, in a different life or something like that.
Yep. And yep, I really like the concept of like everyone in that area. I think it as Shakusha. I went there before. Really trust him, and they all wanted all the citizens there all wanted him to put them into rest. So there's
Right.
like the level of trust between all them and him. So that I think that's one of the part about him so cool.
Yeah, it's really kind of strange to me that they're all just chill with him burning down entire like blocks of the
Yeah.
residential area.
Yep. That's right.
But apparently it honors the Infernal, like it
Yep.
celebrates their life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I guess perhaps the local community, like they all come together and work to rebuild the buildings and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Only in a future where fire is like literally everything and people worship the sun and stuff, would that be seen as okay. Oh, our hometown hero literally just burned down our storefronts and our apartments and our homes, the
Yep.
fronts of them. But hey, you know,
That's cool. That's part of
yeah,
the tradition.
yeah, let's just put them back together. You know,
Yep. No big deal.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's totally explained. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we've only just met these people, so we don't know their way of life or anything.
Yep.
Um, so it's just an interesting concept, I guess.
Yep. All right. Let's talk about the first part.
Yeah, the flashback part.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty good too.
Yep.
How about you?
Well, it's alright to me. It's more about like the very concept why he Hinawa want wanted to NOB basically wanted to make the company in the first place.
Right. Yeah, and Maki.
And we see Maki as well.
Yeah, Gorilla Girl. She joins, and the sister. I can't remember the sister's name. Iris.
Maria, I think.
Really? Aren't you just confusing her with like the Virgin Mary? I'm pretty sure it's
Uh,
Iris.
all right. The name, let's say Iris.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, Iris.
Yeah, so Iris and Maki also join before they even go out on their first official, uh, what would you call it? Mission? I was gonna say
Mm-hmm.
something fancy like extinguishing. They have to kill an infernal. Um, yeah, I mean, I thought it was interesting that Hinawa, the second in command, that he picked out Maki. Um, I would really like to have seen a lot more from this flashback. Like give it even 2 episodes where we can see how much Maki is struggling. Like
Yep.
because she's a good character. Perhaps she has like a conscience that compels her to act in a certain way. If we could really
Mm.
see that and see her struggle to fit into the army and not really make it, and Hinawa
Yep.
take notice of her multiple times,
Mm-hmm.
and then invite her to be in this, like that would not only be an interesting story on its own, it would also really retroactively strengthen the character relationships in the present to
Yep.
know how the characters got to know each other and how this division got formed.
Yep. I
Um,
I
I guess they
I
don't.
do. Sorry. Go on. Yep.
I mean, I guess they don't really have time for that, or the manga didn't go into it that deeply. So we
Right.
just got this.
I do agree on that. I would love to see more of the relationship between Maki and Hinawa, but I think like this part is more like yeah, because Hinawa is the one who tell the story. So like we got to see the story through his point of view.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
yeah, so we see like how he like with this spy he thought that he's the cold person. He actually more like caring about the life of people more than he thought.
Right. And I mean, a lot of that has to do with the experience that he had with his roommate,
Mm-hmm.
his
Mm-hmm.
friend getting turned into an infernal, and his
Yep.
inability to pull the trigger.
Yep. That's right.
What was the deal
So
with guns being baptized? Did you understand
Yep.
that?
Well,
I think they prefer to put down by something that had been placed by the church. So I think I can understand that concept.
I
Not
wonder if
totally convinced.
yeah, because before this episode, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but before this episode, we haven't heard anything about that terminology.
Yep. No, we don't.
Yeah. I wonder if that was the best translation. I mean, it definitely has a cool ring to it. I just wonder if that's what was really being said.
Hmm. But because like for all these mission that we see so far before, like they don't really use the gun in order to put down the victims.
Right. I
They
mean, Hinawa did during Division Eight's first mission, I think. Didn't
all
he?
right.
Oh no,
Mm,
that was before they actually became an official unit. That was when Obi was like, "Ma'am, let me, you know, take responsibility for your husband's passing," and he went
yep.
in there with Hinawa,
Yep.
and
Yep.
Hinawa
Yep.
shot him just one time, and
Mm-hmm,
that
mm-hmm.
was the end of it.
So yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's just some kind of belief. If
Right.
so, yeah, that makes sense in the context, but like you said, it just came out of nowhere. Basically, we haven't heard any of this before.
Right. I mean, it is a flashback episode, so some things are gonna. I mean, you would expect that some things would pop up
Mm-hmm.
that you'd never heard before because we're entering a totally different time period, and the characters, though they are the same, they're almost like new people because we've gone backwards.
Yep, that's right.
Um,
Um, One of
Go
the
ahead.
thing I want to mention is
Okawa. Oh no, it's Obi.
who having a arguments with Company Three. I think like the head of the Company Three is a guy who have like the artificial head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just
Wait,
interesting. I
that guy was the head of a division of Company 3?
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Oh, I missed that completely. Huh.
Hmm.
So that dude right there, who's obsessed with the point system and stuff,
Yep.
becomes um, artificial headman who likes to do experiments and things.
I'm not a hundred percent sure that he was the captain, but he acted like one.
Acted like one. Okay.
Yeah.
You may be right. I don't know.
Well,
All right.
I mean, they've already gone in depth with a Division 7 guy, and the other crew that was kind of brought to our attention in the previous episode was Company 3. So maybe we'll get
Mm-hmm.
some more about them as well. Maybe this guy, from the flashback, the guy in the present, maybe they're the same. We'll find out about it. We'll
yep.
see.
Well, the next episode, I think they still stay in Company Seven, though.
Yeah, probably because they've just introduced these people.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
You want to move on to the next shows?
Vinland Saga? Sure.
Vinland Saga.
All right, how
Uh,
you feel about the episodes?
how did I feel?
Yep,
Dude, I'm sad.
because of.
Dude, I'm sad that this isn't like the knockout anime of the year that it could be. I mean, I probably said something similar last week,
Yep.
um, but I don't know. It's fine, I guess. This
Yeah.
episode really did not leave much of an impact on me because like, what really went on in this episode? Canute, we still, like last episode, we know more about Ragnar, his caretaker,
Yep.
and Canute is kind of a mystery. And in this episode, essentially nothing was done to flesh out that dude's character at all. He was just in a holding
Yep.
pattern. And it was like the
He.
same for uh, uh, Thorfinn and Askeladd as well. They have like a little conversation together as the sun is rising, and that's pretty much it.
All right. All right. We have one important point out. That's Askeladd actually wanted to join. No, no. So he actually wanted to anticipate in rescuing the prince, and
Yeah.
despite like only odds against him, I think.
Just say that last part one more time.
Despite only odds against him.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because he wants to get like a massive payday. He wants to get the prince and then turn him over to the highest bidder, probably, whether that be the king of Denmark, his own father, or
Well,
some enemy faction.
yeah. Well, I think that's just his reason, though. I think it's more about the fact that he just wanted to be into the battle.
I don't know. I think he probably. I mean, he definitely loves battle,
Hmm.
combat, intrigue, that sort of thing. But I do think that he wants uh, the money as well.
Well,
He does
because
have to. He has to provide for his crew, and himself.
correct.
Because the guy Jock, the second in command, basically
Bjorn.
he John, yeah, he I think he making the expression that like Askeladd would very well just walk away from that, but instead he become more aggressive. He actually cut the head of the guy off,
Yeah,
and
he does cut his head off, like right near the very end.
yep.
So yep. Um,
I do think that the conversation with Thorfinn like earlier is one of the reasons that set him off. Something about like Twilight. They are in the Twilight period or something. Do you get any of that?
I mean, I got what the conversation was about, but I was just totally unimpressed. Like, I don't know. I'm starting this episode. You can feel that the manga started around episode 7 because
Yep.
like there's the big long.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't this one the one with the big long dream sequence where he dreams of
Yep.
his father and the rest of his family in Vinland, and then the arrows pierce his dad's body?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
This chapter in the manga is probably the first time that you see that image of Tors with all those arrows stuck through him. And this is
That
like, so this dream sequence in the manga would be hinting at the unfortunate end that his father met.
that's right.
Um, but that dream sequence it's at least 4 minutes.
I
And dude, it's
Yep.
not. I mean, it looks beautiful and stuff, but the fact that it is not communicating any new information
Mhm.
dulls the whole thing.
That's right. That's right. I had the same feeling when I watched that dream sequence. I was like, I think this is like in the manga. This is the first time we see Thor. You know,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Honestly,
and,
I'm
and
feeling as though it was a mistake to begin the series with young
well,
Thorfinn. Like you
well,
could
I
have.
don't. All right, I don't think it
What's up?
is a. I don't think it's a mistake to start. As with that prologue, but then again, they need to they need to cut out some of these scenes that hinted again that doesn't work any more new information that we already know. So this is the adaptation
Yeah,
they
but
have to, they have to know about. They have to be aware of that.
right. But let's say, for example, that you do adapt the series the way you've been adapting it. You start with young Thorfinn, and who witnesses his father's death.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then and then you cut the dream sequence out, because we already have all that information. We understand um, that Vinland is the place where Thorfinn has heard there's no war, and he feels like that's a place that he could live with. I don't know, like he would live out his life with his family there if he could. So we understand that we don't need that dream sequence. But then, if you proceed to the conversation with Askeladd, um, I don't know. Like it feels like their relationship is so much less complicated, given that we've seen more of them together, because the dynamics has stayed the same the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Askeladd bad, Thorfinn want revenge. Me
Yep.
challenge him to duel, me lose. That's
Mm-hmm.
happened what, 3 times, something like that.
Yep.
It really shouldn't be this way. It shouldn't, like, if we get more scenes of them together, even if they're following the same general trajectory,
Mm-hmm.
there should be enough development that we feel as though the relationship is changing, and so that conversation should be like way more. It should impress upon us something that is new about their relationship to each other. But paradoxically, we've seen them together on screen more than we would have in the manga,
Mm-hmm.
and that conversation is less impressive.
Yep.
And that to me is a serious red flag. Like something's really wrong to me.
Mm. I understand what you mean. I mean like I do get a bit of new feeling that Escalade, like open up to Toffin. But uh yeah, I don't I just think it's not enough.
What did he open up to him about?
Well, like talk to him like, a comrade, basically.
Really?
Yeah, well,
I
just
didn't I didn't get that. It seemed like Askeladd was kind of rambling to me. I mean, he's talking about like the glory of the Roman Empire and how that's faded over time.
yep. And like
It's
most stupid people get the range. Yeah, yeah. Mm.
does he say something about stupid people?
Well, they just said like the Anglos, basically the
The
English,
Saxons?
yeah, the Saxons, came to take the range, and like I think he mentioned something about they are less powerful and they less intelligent and stuff than the
Right, like
Roman.
their society is less developed than what came before.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he's probably just reflecting on his own life and feeling as though perhaps time is like slipping through his fingers in the same way that it did for this older civilization
Hmm.
that has now lost to time. But like, what is Thorfinn's response? Oh, you probably think that we're like buddies now, but I'm still gonna kill you, bro.
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, so I'm not impressed with that. Um,
Well, I mean, I'm not. I don't know. Like, do you remember Dororo earlier this year?
yep. Mm-hmm.
People also thought that that show was like, oh my god, this is so amazing. It's like a historical epic and stuff. Everybody thought that show was great. Um, I don't know. I feel like Vinland Saga is going to get the same general admiration from people, but I just don't feel it's really it kind of pisses me off that
Mm-hmm.
this is, it's being directed by this 3D CG director from Attack on Titan, and that Wit is doing it, and it's obviously not the Wit team that would have worked on, a smaller character piece. Like, obviously you know which one I'm thinking of.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know, man.
Well, and then we have like the host on the story about um Tokyo. who kidnapped the prince who's basically just all he was doing is just like praying. We didn't know anything about him, like you said. Um, yeah. I can say that I really care about these characters right now.
I do want to note that the scene where Thorkel is, where they raid a camp or something and kidnap Canute, has some pretty
Mm.
sick animation.
All right.
Like the Thorkel, like swinging his body around in the frame,
Mm-hmm.
like the sense of depth, him getting closer to and farther away from the quote unquote camera, that was
Mm-hmm.
pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't even rely on a lot of the 3D trickery, like from, for example, the opening scene in the first episode where it's Thors and Thorkel running across the boats and stuff and slashing people's
Mm-hmm.
waists, cutting them
Yep.
in half.
Yep.
Uh, it didn't even really rely on that. It was pretty impressive looking, but then he just kidnaps Canute, who is a literal like question mark head.
Mm-hmm.
Like the silhouette of a head that's black and then has a white question mark in the middle.
Yep.
That's Canute.
Right.
But next episode, man, next episode for sure. We're gonna meet Canute and he's gonna be awesome.
Hopefully. Like I was sure that we will know more about Canu this episodes,
And all we know is like the people, this satisfaction about him.
Right.
Um,
Like his men think that he's a coward and stuff.
yeah.
and not much of anything else. Oh, it's except that he really he loved to pray.
Right. Yeah. It kind of seems as though Ragnar being his caretaker, and
Yeah.
the Danish king says like you're too soft on him, you've spoiled him and stuff, and he kind of blames the church and religion.
Yep.
It's Ragnar who's praying with him at the start of this episode, and he doesn't pray for strength or for luck in battle. He prays for protection.
Hmm.
So Ragnar is not interested in Canute winning this fight. But my guess is that Canute will try to come into his own as a warrior, like to win his father's
Yep.
approval and such.
Well, he basically based on Canute the Great. So I think we will hear more about him.
Oh, I don't know anything about like the Viking epics and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
So
apparently
I mean, if
he pretty famous.
if his name is the Great,
Yep.
then he was probably cutting people in half himself.
All right.
Yep. I still feel like this episode is a bit it's not good. It just keeps stalling, basically.
Yeah.
Um, which is
But
basically a
next
waste.
episode, and the next one, Canute's gonna be the best. You'll see.
Right.
You'll
got
all
it.
see.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
You want us to switch to Kyoshoya?
Sure. Episodes 5 and 6. Did you like
Right.
them?
Yeah, I still like it. I still like the series. I think like start at like episode 5 or 6. From my original watch, I started to feel that Goto is the kind of the characters who in search for the plot, because when she get into this new world, she doesn't know what she had to fight. So instead, she just like going around the town and wrecking and just playing. So I think I
Right.
got that feeling in around these episodes on the original one. This time I think because uh of the new development in the end of episode 6, so I don't feel that as much.
So did I hear you correctly when you said she was a character who was in search of the plot?
Yeah, yeah. I did
Oh,
say that, yes.
That's an interesting way of putting it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would agree, up to a certain point.
All right.
But yeah, because she is the fish out of water character. So with her arrival, everyone starts to change their attitude a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I don't know. It's almost like she's the plot herself.
All
Just
right.
her appearance is the story.
That
It
changed
kicks
everyone
off.
around her.
Yeah, it kicks off people changing in the present, and also, it would kind of fit that we would start to get these flashbacks after her appearance because if she is, some sort of reincarnation or alternate version of their mother, and if she carries these spirits with her, Ah and Un, who represent the beginning and the end, that Mioe the First
Mm-hmm.
promised to bring back in
Mm-hmm.
episode, what was that? Episode 5.
6, I think. Yep.
Um, if she's representing like this, not only her mother and their mother, but also the father, um,
Mm-hmm.
then the flashbacks coming afterwards, kind of being a result of that. That makes sense in terms of the series structure. But yeah, I mean, I have been continually talking about the fact that this robot is going to eat her. Dude, it happened at the end of episode 6. I thought that was near the end. What are they going to do for the next 4 episodes? Just
Well. The mom is back, so that's what they're gonna do. The mom's is
well,
back.
she's not back yet. She's only just encountered Koto the second, like inside the robot, right? In this
Right.
different
Dimension.
dimension. Yeah.
I
I don't
I
remember. Does the mom actually come back to mirror Kyoto? I don't think she does.
Well, all right. Let's see because we have 4 more episodes. Um, I still don't really grab the concept. Why why Kurama decided to test Koto by having her be swallowed by the robot, in which there is their mother inside the robot. How's everything work basically?
I don't think the mom is inside the robot. The robot itself is the gate to another dimension,
All right, got that.
as far as I understand it. Because we actually see, after Koto gets swallowed by the robot, we see her in front of sort of a window or a gate.
Yep, yep,
And she like kind of falls through it, and then she's in outer space between the Earth and the Moon. And we see that red star, which I think is Koto the First, who
yep.
then descends to meet her daughter, or her other
From the
self,
moon, from
or
the moon.
whatever.
Yep.
Right, from the moon, yes, because she's the rabbit in the moon.
All right.
Yeah, so the robot is just the gate, but I'm really surprised that it happened this early.
Yep.
So I don't know what the hell is going to go on after this.
Yep.
I'm worried that it's going to be more stuff like what we got in this episode. Like, did you
Right.
notice that there were a lot of really, really long shots um, of just like no dialogue? For example, at the end of episode 5, in the wheat field, when it's like sunset outside and it's
Uh,
Mioe the second, and
all right, boy. I love that scene. I love these scenes.
oh my God, why hold for so long on these individual shots in this wheat field with no words being exchanged?
All right.
Because of the feel of the background. I mean like this that has like one of my favorite screenshot from this show. I gonna
Well,
pull
if you
pull that up to you.
all right, if you screenshot it, it's fine, I'm sure. But dude, the wheat, the individual like stalks of wheat, they're all CG. And when you hold on a shot and you're just watching them move, and that's the only thing in the frame that is dragging your eye back and forth, like I'm telling you right now, don't go back and rewatch that because you're gonna see the CG and be like, oh shit, that's
Nah.
what that's what was in this. That's what they chose to compose this scene.
All right. I still I really enjoyed that scenes. My youth.
All
All
right.
right. Gonna
Did you
send
say
you.
did you say my dude?
No, my you.
Oh,
I
mind
really
you.
like
Okay.
it. Yeah, I really like these scenes. I actually feel that there is a lot of love put into these scenes, make it happen. So I really like it.
All right. Well, nice. When the scene first hit, when we first, I guess when the characters go to the wheat field,
Yep.
and the sun is setting, so it looks very pretty, and I was like, oh, nice. This is a good setting.
Hmm. Hmm.
Good good chance for some significant conversation to be had. The wheat kind of since it's growing, it kind of represents that this might be, I don't know, a new start for these two characters, or that perhaps the wheat needs to be harvested. So,
Mm-hmm.
like the two of them, they've made a little bit of progress together. They've gotten a little bit closer, and now that relationship needs to kind of bear fruit. Like symbolically, there's a whole bunch you can do there. But
How
then
how
they just held on like individual shots forever.
all right. I love the way that you use bear fruit because that actually happened in the story.
Yeah, that's true. Wait a minute. This screenshot that you sent me is not of the. I'm
All
talking
right,
about the scenes where they're
that
like
was
in the
before the
wheat field.
wheat.
Yeah, that was before the wheat.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but the shot that you sent me here is like gorgeous.
Yeah.
Love it.
All right. I got one shot from the wheat, and it doesn't look that bad either.
Oh, dude, don't rewatch it. 'Cause you're gonna see the computer graphics from 2013.
Well, it's just 6 years old.
It's not that old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, all right. We got a bunch of the story about the person, which I think, well, I pretty much believe, he is like the second protagonist of this story.
Who? Mioe the
Uh,
second?
yep, that's right.
Yeah. We see his. I mean, you called it last week. I think he's not their biological child.
Yeah. Well, but
We learned that for sure here.
yeah. Well, but I don't really remember that. Like he actually was dead and brought back to life.
Yeah, I definitely
By his
forgot
father.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and do you remember in episode one? I think that Mioe has like a nightmare, a dream right before Koto's arrival with the thunderstorm.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
The pomegranate factored into that dream.
Yep. Yep.
So I think a large portion of the images that made up that dream in episode one were probably from these episodes.
That's right. That's
There's
right.
probably a little bit more in there too,
Mm-hmm.
but it was largely about his origins as a human child and the deaths of his parents, the fire that burned down his home, the pomegranate bringing him back to life, and it was horrifying that he tried to kill himself a second time,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
and he couldn't do it.
It actually really interesting to me because when from a flashback when he see like his parents and all the people have been dead. I and we see like the father just came in. I would have thought that he would rescue him then. I didn't really expect that he gonna um he gonna stab himself and died.
Yeah,
So that was really one in interesting bit.
yeah, pretty startling.
Yeah.
I don't know
So
about like the ethics of forcing someone to
relax.
live, to be immortal.
Yep. Yep.
Like it's true that he's just a child,
Mm-hmm.
but if he has the resolve to die not once but twice, and you invalidate that choice,
Yep. But
like I don't know, that's kind of scary that he has that ability.
that's right. I do think that that was the intention of the father to let him die first. So like his previous life has already ended. So that so that when the son wake up, he had no choice but join this family.
Really?
Yeah, I think that was yeah, I was that was the intention of the father to not save him then.
That's
You know.
that's too much.
Well,
That's
because he
creepy.
had well because he had the power to to raise back the dead.
Well, but I mean, he probably didn't have parchment and ink and a brush on him when he discovered the child. The kid could
Yeah.
have just died like as he was being carried back to the temple.
Well, he did. He died.
Yeah, but
That's the
that's what I'm
thing.
saying. Like you're phrasing it like he wanted him to die so that
All
his
right.
life would be over and then he could start his new life. I don't know that like I can't imagine a situation where the kid was alive and he had the ability to save him, but he just like literally did not act and
All right.
let him die so that he could bring him back with the pomegranate. Because if that's true, that
Yeah.
is really twisted and dark that he would do
Uh,
that.
I, I, I do think that it is all right, and I do feel that he in no rush, you know, to save him as well. He just like casually bring him back with a smile on his face, basically.
Yeah,
This is
he
the
is.
set for
He's
you,
definitely. Yeah, he is way too
and
nonchalant.
well, yeah, and I do think that this is one of the principle of Buddhism, but Buddhists to not interfere with the life of the others. So I think that he just act as a witness to see the son die, and then he act.
That's a good take. I like that. Yeah,
Well,
linking it back to Buddhism because obviously that's threaded very, you know, closely into this show's DNA.
right. But
Yeah, interesting.
yeah, but well now he's not he like another interesting thing is he's not human anymore. So like none of these characters are exactly human, are genuinely
Well, I would say that
human.
he is still human. He's just immortal.
Yeah, yeah. He more like a zombie in that sense.
I suppose so. Yeah. He is undead.
Yep.
Undead, basically, yes.
Yeah, I suppose he is a zombie. So we have a zombie, an oni, and
Yep.
whatever Kuruma is,
Yeah. Have no idea.
some kind of weird science magician guy who
Yeah.
flies
Magician.
around in a little teacup.
Yep. That interesting. And their mom is a rabbit.
Right, and their dad is a
More.
priest with the ability to draw life.
Yeah, that's right. So none of them is actually very normal. Even Koto,
Right.
I don't really know where or what she is, who or what she is.
Isn't she human?
Uh,
Isn't that
well,
kind of made clear in the second episode? Like all the members of Shrine are kind of, um, collections of data. They're like cybernetic,
yep,
um,
yep,
or
yep.
just cyber people. But Koto is a human being, and that's why everyone thinks Inari is like a weirdo for taking her in.
Mm-hmm. Maybe.
I think I think she is human. That's why it makes sense that Mioe would be the one to take her in
Yep,
because they're both human beings. People probably recognize that about them, you know,
yep.
among their other similarities.
Um. All right. So his plan is to make her kill him.
Oh
How?
yeah, yeah, the whole thing about kill me,
Yeah,
bro.
yeah. How can she do that? How can she do that if he immortal?
That's the thing. Her hammer, the things that her hammer breaks do not repair themselves.
Hmm. Hmm.
I think that his pomegranate probably functions using the same logic as
Yep.
all the things in Mirror Kyoto
Yep.
because they're all drawings that Mioe the First created. But Koto is able to break that logic somehow. And I mean, we even saw a little shot of her hammer while she was transported through the gate
Yep.
inside the robot. Like the little colored circles, I guess they're supposed to be spheres, kind of like maybe protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of exchanged uh, electricity, like a current between them.
Mm-hmm.
Some sort of reaction was going on when she went through the gate in her hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So this show likes to blend, like technology, science, religion, magic, all that stuff together. So
Yep.
the bottom line is Koto's hammer will probably be able to kill him. Like if she were able to wind up and then smack him in the head,
Hmm.
that might be that might do the trick, you know.
Wow.
And he might be searching for death because he recognizes that that's where he's supposed to be.
Yep. Hmm.
He probably has that memory of having died still.
Ye- Right. But talking about his flashback, it actually really um, heartwarming, maybe when we see like an viral shot. I think it's like a montage of him, like starting to get close to mom and dad and act like a real family. So I think that scene was really good.
You're talking about the scene at the temple that's like facing outward where you can see the
Right.
seasons changing
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
between the pillars of the temple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
There was one little bit of animation I really loved in there, which was Koto the first, the
Mm.
rabbit,
Yeah.
like jumping up in the air and kind of
Oh
hovering,
yeah.
like levitating,
Uh-huh.
and like zooming across the frame to embrace one of her kids.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I thought that was a really nice cut right there.
Yeah, that's right. Um. Oh, and even the story about the beginning and the end, which basically is A and Und.
Right. Yeah. It reinforces the. I mean, Mioe obviously has daddy issues
Yep.
because dad
Hmm.
saddled him with this curse. Like he has to carry on his father's work as a priest.
Yep.
Um, and his dad promised him he would return with the beginning and the end, and now he or she has,
Hmm.
just not in the way that he expected.
Yep. I
So
think
that
like
is, go
I
ahead.
think like the name is more like the alphabetical in Japanese, right? It's
Probably.
A
I mean,
and
I know
Und. Yeah.
Alpha and
Yeah.
Omega is in the Greek.
All right. Yep.
So A and Un kind of sounds like an equivalent.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. One good thing about this show is you don't really know what's gonna come next. So I absolutely don't remember much of the last 5 episodes. What will happen?
Well, I'm scared now,
He's scared. All right.
just because of where this whole robot thing has come into play. I mean, perhaps if I weren't watching for the second time, I'd be fine because they have been hinting at the robot pretty consistently
Yep.
throughout these episodes. They
Hmm.
did the little 60s sort of kids show mecha black and white segment where the robot is like the hero, and then there's the conversation between the guy from Shrine and Kurama with the robot in the background.
Hmm.
And even in the very first episode, you learn about his plan and you see the robot somewhere.
Yep. Yep. So it still feel like a bit of the mashup. We have robot, we have magical girl. That someone
Do we?
say. Well, that someone say Koto to be a magical girl. We have
Hmm, I
yeah we
guess. Yeah,
we
her
have a
hammer
lot.
kind of makes her one.
Yeah, we have a lot of things. Like it's like a mashup of genre and and
Oh
I
yeah, I know who you're talking about. It's the girl who works in Kurama's division who literally calls her a Maho Shoujo.
yeah, that's right. No,
Yeah,
remember
okay, yeah, yeah.
Shoko. I think Shoko.
Yeah, Shoko.
So yeah, but I still feel that this show is fresh. Not necessarily like everything come together yet.
Yeah, it is fresh. It's visually fresh.
Yep.
Um, the structure of it, all the different flashbacks, all the episodes split up into three parts. The characters'
Hmm.
relationships, generationally, like who's who, who's related to whom, how.
Mhm.
It's all an interesting puzzle.
Yeah,
But sometimes, man, the show just goes into a mode that I really don't like very much.
which
Like, do you remember
is
the scene where Koto is thinking about boarding the train and she's listening to all those weird, multicolored, kind of plastic-looking people
oh yeah, yeah,
as
yeah,
they're yeah, and they're all talking about like um, I don't even remember. It's just some stuff of like no consequence whatsoever. Something about like putting fragile stickers on luggage so that it won't break during travel,
yep,
and
yep,
like the
yep.
timing of when to buy a train ticket. Like that scene where she's just standing there and she's listening to all that dialogue is like way too artsy.
Yeah,
It doesn't
I
have
like
any
it.
bearing on it doesn't
Yeah,
have any bearing on what's going on in the show.
right. That's right. Yeah. Well, this so messy.
Yeah, I mean you could easily cut that out. It does nothing. It's so expendable. Like I mean, if you were to let's say you have this whole thing storyboarded out and you're assigning, times and frames to each little bit of the storyboard so you can put it together and make sure it's like 22 minutes or something. What do you cut
Yep.
first if you need to cut something?
The unnecessary parts, of course.
Well, yeah, just that in particular, like you would cut that. I don't know. Like whenever I'm watching something and I get the sense that this could have been edited down and I can point with my finger at like one particular thing,
Yep. Yep.
uh, I never really enjoy
All right. Me
those
for me, but
parts.
right for me personally, though, if you're saying about that part in Kyosho Giga and like the whole episodes in Vinland Saga, I would say that Vinland Saga this episode needed to cut out. For that for the very part that you said, I still actually kind of amused about that. I just
Uh,
I still wanted to know why the creators um create the scene that way. So
I don't know, dude. The same reason
for
why these.
curiosity, I am curious basically.
Uh,
All right.
well, I don't know. Rie Matsumoto probably saw something similar in another work, and she wanted to like make some kind of homage to it, a shout out,
Yep.
something. I don't
Mhm.
know.
Yeah, I think it is more like I think it's happened with like a lot of originals anime directors like Satoshi Kon, for example. Like he have like a lot of ideas, and sometimes he tended to want to put everything together in the movies or stuff. So that's why we got like some of these totally not related to the series, but they are kind of interesting in a way, in their way.
Gotcha.
All right. You have any other
All
notes?
right.
On Kyoshogiga.
No, I don't think so.
All right.
We're good.
All right. So
We good.
you did enjoy it, right? After 6 episodes.
Uh, these episodes were okay,
All right.
I guess. Like the cliffhangers in both cases, I like you got to kill me in one, and
Yep.
oh, it's me, your mom, in the
Yep.
other. I was like, all right. I mean, these are supposed to be bombshells, but I'm just like trying not to pass out
Yeah.
over here
All
while
right.
watching.
That
I was
harsh.
tired. I was tired while I was watching these. I was like literally rocking back and forth in my chair to stop myself from falling asleep. I just got off a 10-hour shift at work. But these
Right.
like I mean if I watch an anime series that I'm really into, I will wake up.
Yep. Yep.
Um not so while watching either of these episodes. I was just like, meh. I'll be
Uh.
impressed with individual scenes but not the entire product.
All right, sir.
Gotcha.
That's just that's where I'm at. I
All
do
right.
think this show's had a couple really good episodes so far though.
Mhm. All right. I think we can move on to Heady Girl of the Apps.
Speaking of a show with lots and lots and lots of good episodes,
All right. Well,
no bias, no
no.
bias at all.
We actually got a lot going on in the last 4 episodes of Heady.
I know. Thank you, base Heidi.
Well, we got
A super slice of life world masterpiece theater show adapted from a children's book where a girl runs around in the grass for hours at a time. Somehow
yeah,
manages to propel its plot faster than like modern series from this decade. How
yeah,
is it
like
possible?
yeah, like even Vinland Saga was supposed to be an epic story.
Yeah, well,
Well,
I mean, it probably will be epic, but Heidi is way more epic. She's the best.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, we we have like the first episode, the doctor visit. The second episode, Clara visits basically, and then we have
Yep.
like few more episodes about Clara and what's the name, Rottenmeier, like trying
Yeah.
to fit in with the with the new world, with the new house, basically, new environment.
Right. Well, there's the new house, and then there's the new house because
Yeah,
Clara
well,
relocates like very quickly after she comes to the
yeah,
Alps.
yeah, that's right. So
She wants to sleep in the hay bed and stuff.
yeah, apparently she been sleeping very well and eating very well. Thanks God for that.
Yeah. I mean, she still gets up before Heidi and stuff because she's so excited about everything.
Yeah, or maybe because he couldn't sleep.
Yeah. But I mean, she's probably sleeping well. She's taking her naps a
Yep,
little bit,
yep, yep,
and she's probably doing her lessons at this point, settled into a bit of a routine, even though we don't see it
yep.
because that's boring. And I would rather see her sitting in her dress on the grass,
Yeah,
trying to pick some flowers and play with the ladybug and stuff. Dude, why is it so entertaining to watch them play with the ladybug?
yeah. Well,
Somebody explain it. It's like wizard magic.
um, I didn't really expect that Rottenmeier would come along, but in the long run, it makes sense. Does he need like a caretaker, and who else
Yeah.
but her?
Well, I mean, Rottenmeier isn't a caretaker. She's accompanying Clara, but she has to pay people to be her caretaker.
Yeah, that's right.
To
She
take
not.
her up the mountain, to make breakfast, to do
Yep,
the laundry.
yep.
She has to pay people. She doesn't know how to take care of anybody.
Yeah, that's right.
Rawr.
Oh my god. But yeah, it actually more. I think these episodes are like the following ones, gonna be more about how Rottenmeier changed her attitude, and
You
fit
think
in with
so?
the new, yeah, with fit in with the new environment more than Clara. See, Clara is actually pretty fit in right now.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the last 8 episodes are probably going to be less about Rottenmeier, more about Clara like getting the use of her legs back, maybe,
Yeah, yeah.
because they're all
So
talking about how the air is going to somehow cure her legs.
yeah, well, makes sense. Ass legs.
Yeah, dude. This is 19th century science right now.
Right. Oh no
The
no
air
no.
goes in through your mouth, it goes down to your legs.
Well, what did the doctor say? She had to feel the weight of the earth in order
Yeah, I mean,
for her leg to function again.
yeah. The doctor seems to think that her her hang up right now is mostly mental.
Yep.
He says that she needs the willpower,
Yep.
like the drive to get up and walk. I was surprised to hear him say that because she's been in a wheelchair her entire life? Question
Yeah.
mark? Is that right?
Well, I think that's right. I
I
think
mean, ever
it's
since she was old enough to sit up in one, I guess, or to use one with her arms. Perhaps
yeah.
not since like I don't know. She's a fictional character. I don't need to think too hard about this, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Well, I think it's more like he meant that Clara is in a cage her whole life, so she need like to open herself up and reach out of the cage
Right.
for in order for her to walk again. Again,
Right. The little
not
bird.
really sure.
We always saw that. We always saw that little bird in her scenes in the cage.
Yep, yep,
Whenever she would have a particularly dramatic or emotional scene, that bird would be in that room with that bird.
yep,
And now she's free. She's out here. And there was a moment in, I don't know, one of these episodes. My notes are kind of running together this week.
yep,
Where she's like, she's out sitting in the grass, and she kind of like rolls over a little bit on her hip and
yep.
stretches out her arm and reaches to like get a flower or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she plucks it and she sits back up, and then she says to Heidi, look, I got it. I got the flower. I did it.
Yep,
And
yep.
I'm sure that in that motion, where she kind of had to extend her body and twist like that, I'm sure her legs were involved somehow in maintaining
Yeah.
balance or something.
All right. Yep, yep, yep.
So
She making
perhaps
progress.
perhaps she's on her way there.
Right. Yeah, but we still see like her frustration, like in the morning in the bed, where she wanted to get herself into the wheelchair all by herself, but she couldn't.
Right. Right. She said, "Well, it was worth a try."
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. It could have you could have hurt or killed yourself,
Yeah.
but it was worth a try.
I don't know like how long it would take for the train to go from her place, which is Hamburg, right, to
Frankfurt.
the house, Frankfurt. All right.
Wasn't it just an overnight visit when Heidi went back with Sebastian? It was just
Yeah.
like two
Yeah.
days and
Well.
one night, kind of.
Yeah. I'm not really sure as well. The reason I mentioned that is because I just feel like the doctor visit is a bit too quick. So like they got the letters and I'm pretty sure that the letter just doesn't come like in one day, like over the night. But the moment that he's received the letter that the doctor gonna come now, looks like he already been there like on the field and
Well, I mean, it's
Peter
possible that
picking up.
yeah. I mean, it's possible that they sent the letter at the same time that he left, and it was on a different train or something.
Mm.
Dude, I don't know.
Yep. Well,
I mean, they probably just kind of hurried things along so they could actually get Clara there before episode
yeah.
52.
Well,
We need
right.
those legs back online
Yep. Yep.
now.
Yep. Yep. Uh, I love the way that the doctor was at first concerned about Clara well-being here because of the stiff uh or the stiff spot that
Right.
that her wheelchair would not um would be very difficult to use.
Yeah.
And then Hedy just pointed out that it's her leg, not the wheelchair that he need to think about.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of that scene. I thought
Right.
the bucket getting kicked down the hill and breaking on the rocks, I thought that was pretty on the nose.
Yeah, it is.
And Heidi sees that and she's like, "Oh my God, that could happen to Clara."
Yep. Yep.
And then the doctor having like a revelation,
Yep.
that, oh, you're right, Heidi. We should be focused on like getting her legs to work again and not so much on the wheelchair. Like I don't know. I feel like you said the doctor's visit seemed pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say that might be one reason why. Like the total time of his visit seems kind of fast,
Yep.
because it just ends very suddenly at the when it's time, to go to commercial after episode 41, because we got to get the next program on the air. We got to wrap up this doctor's visit. What's going to happen? Oh, she's going to kick a bucket down the hill.
Right.
That'll set everything in motion.
Yep. All right.
But it's fine, because then Clara got to come visit afterwards.
Yep. And I love the sausage. It's look huge.
Oh yeah, I'm sure Peter loved them too. He probably got up in the middle of the night and sneaked around his house and found where his mom hid them.
Yep. Yep.
I
Yep.
definitely would do that if I were his age. And I knew delicious sausages were hidden somewhere in my house.
Yep. Yep. Oh, I would do that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like looking for your Christmas presents. If you're a kid, you got to do it, man.
Yep. Yep. Um. All right. Yeah. So, yeah, but basically, from it's just very heartwarming to see like Clara met Hedy again after like how many episodes? 10. A lot.
Really? You think it's been 10?
Let me just.
Excuse me. I feel like it's been less than that.
All right. Hmm.
I don't know. I could look it up in my notes. That would actually be a pretty easy way to figure it out, but I don't really want to do that.
Right. Nah, it's alright.
It's been
Oh,
it's been 10-ish, maybe a little less.
they didn't mention that the grandmama maybe gonna come as well.
Oh yeah. She'll probably end up showing up since they dropped her name.
Yep. Yep.
I don't know about the
Uh.
dad though. They said that he might come, but
Yep.
he's always working and neglecting his sickly daughter. So,
Yep. Mm, that's right.
I mean, think about how much money they have. He doesn't need to continue working. They could take the fortune they have and live like a little bit more modestly and
Right.
just sit on that money. They could probably do it the rest of his life.
Mm, yep.
But he probably is like the type of guy who feels like
Loves
working
work.
is his purpose, Yeah.
Yep.
He likes to keep making money and keep doing what he's doing. Probably in an important position, likes the responsibility. All right. What else we got?
Yeah. All right. Rottenmauer.
Her again?
Yeah, well, she, like she does have like some minor arguments with Handy Grandpa. In which
Yeah.
in which Grandpa shot her down every single time.
Yeah. Yeah. What a
Which
guy.
which I really like. Because basically, what he does is really appropriate as well. What he does when he's here, like Rottenmeier demand to Clara, he would ask for Clara's opinion first,
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
and then he shot her down.
What a man.
Yeah.
He understands, and he's even demonstrating to her by asking the child, like, what does the child want?
Yeah,
he's
that's
giving
right.
he's giving Clara an opportunity to express herself, and
Mhm.
Rottenmeier can witness it rather than just being a one-on-one thing.
That's right.
Yeah. So that honestly, yeah, I mean that might be the sort of thing that could open her eyes a little bit to how Clara feels.
Yep.
To hear it from her mouth in response to somebody else, because in her normal living situation, it's not as though it's going to be like Sebastian in the room with them, and Sebastian's going to say, well, what do you want to do today, Clara?
Yep.
Sebastian's going to defer to Rottenmeier, who is like his supervisor in a sense,
Yeah, that's
to use
right.
a more modern term. Yeah, Rottenmeier, and she also she walks kind of barefoot in the grass in order to
Yeah.
get up the hill for
I,
probably the
I,
first
I,
time in her life.
yeah, I think she done making progress herself. Like at first,
That dude.
she would ask for like the company by the horse. So she riding the horse, not riding, not technically
Well, she was
riding the horse.
riding.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was sitting. There's some term for that where you have both legs slung over one side. I can't remember what it is.
All right. Yeah. So
Side
she.
saddle. Side saddle.
Oh right. So she saddled the horse, but like the next day, she actually wanted to walk by herself.
Well, no, she did not. She was afraid of the horse, and she called it a beast, as she does literally every animal.
Yep, that's right. The dog, the the goats, all of them are the beasts. But which,
Pita-san,
yeah,
tasukete.
which technically was right. They are all beasts. Even human are beasts.
Yes, I suppose. Although when you call Joseph a beast, that's when you've crossed the line.
Yep.
All that boy wants to do is eat his snails. Leave him alone.
Yeah, right.
He's been eating a
Oh,
lot of snails lately.
yeah, that all right. What did he do like making the hole?
Yeah, you know what? When he made that hole at the start of the episode, I was sure
Yep.
that Heidi was going to push Clara out of the door in the wheelchair
Oh,
and she was going to
oh.
fall. I mean, because they set it up at the start of the episode.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. No. All right. That
But
would have been
that didn't
interesting.
happen. I was like, "What? What was the hole for?"
Yeah. Maybe they forgot about that part of the plot.
When they were storyboarding it out,
Yep, yep.
they
They was like,
they created a scene where he was digging a hole, and then since it was at the very beginning, they forgot about it.
yeah, they was like, oh my god, this is so cute. Just just go along with the ride.
Dude, I love Joseph's his theme song so much.
Do, 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 do. Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it will end with him like making yawning.
Yeah, like a gigantic human sounding yawn.
Yeah, human sounding. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's the one.
Well,
He's pretty good dog.
yeah. Well, I think it's basically the time where everything come together. So basically now Handy's got everything, which is good.
Yeah, Heidi is definitely in her element. She's got Clara by her, hanging out with her, living with her. She's back in the Alps.
Yep.
Grandfather is helping her out, making sure that her friend's visit is, a memorable
Yep.
one. Peter is being Peter.
Yep. Joseph and two houses.
Yep. So the what's next is I mean I'm thinking we're gonna get some stuff with grandfather and Rottenmeier.
Uh,
Maybe put the caps in
Clara.
their character arcs. Yeah,
Yep.
Clara is the major thing. They're
Yeah,
gonna go
that's
up to
right.
the Field of Flowers. She wants to visit the Field of Flowers. I'm worried that that might be like there's probably gonna be at least one instance of danger where Clara is like, because they've been talking so much about the steep slopes and stuff.
Yep. Hmm.
She might get into trouble. Peter might have to come and save her. Something like that.
Which, yeah,
Which for me is fine. She bound to. They all bound to meet some kind of trouble along the way.
Yeah, they're kids. They get into trouble. I
Yep.
mean, I work with kids, and
Yep.
they, somebody gets hurt every day when we go out to the playground.
Right.
There's a lot of kids out there. You can't regulate all of their behavior at once.
Yep. Yep.
There's usually at least one child who gets hurt. They just need a band-aid or something. And then there's usually at least one or two fights that break out between, especially the younger kids,
Mm.
like the really young ones. You just can't,
That's
like, you can't really control children. You just create a safe place for them
that nice.
and watch them as best you can.
All right. So as an experience from the as an experience from a guy who actually working with kids. I heard that like the way the kids behave when they were like 4 or 5 years old is like their actual personality. Is that right, in your opinion?
Well, it's hard. It's really hard to say because we don't know that much about the human brain
Right, right.
in general. So all of the ideas about child psychology and child development that exist are
Mm.
theoretical.
Right.
But at this point in human developmental theory, there's something called the critical period,
Yep.
which ranges from birth to like roughly 5 years old,
Mm.
which is where the large majority of your personality cements itself.
Right.
Everything after that is more cerebral and less like elemental. It's like the base, the foundation is laid between
Yep.
birth and five. Everything
Mm.
after that is kind of like layers being added, but it isn't as impactful as the lowest level.
Right.
Um,
I got that.
so yeah, kids who are when they're 5 years old, that is kind of like their personality. Now, I mean, I personally I believe that people can change,
Mm.
um, but it takes a lot of effort
Yep.
and it has to be conscious effort.
Yep. Like education and stuff.
Um, yeah, education and just like self-reflection and receiving feedback from others, being open to new opinions, new information, all that stuff. And not everybody, I mean, I think there are some people for whom change is very difficult or even impossible. I think it's different depending on the person.
Mhm.
Um,
Nice.
so somebody like Rottenmeier, for example, it would be very difficult given her age and the fact that she like doesn't understand how to do things for herself and she is constantly seeking to pay people
Mm.
to do work for her. Be very difficult for her to change. But this is a Miyazaki series. This is
Yep.
a Takahata series. And so nature can fix literally anything. So
Mhm.
she just needs to be in nature and then, her
Yep.
personality is going to get ironed right out.
Yeah.
She gonna understand everything. The circle of life. The
Only
All the
stuff.
secrets of the universe
Yep.
are hidden in the Swiss Alps.
Right. So yeah, we still got a pretty good shot. I enjoy Hedy probably the most out of like everything that we watch.
What, right now, you mean?
Right now, right now, right now.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I've got a list, actually. I made a Word doc
Yep.
of all of the things that we've covered on the podcast,
Yep.
like every season, all the films, all the classic series, all that stuff.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting if we like ranked all of them, you know,
Huh.
or just came up with like
Huh.
a top. Both of us come up with a top 10.
All right. Of everything
I
we
think.
cover in the podcast, you say.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting if we did it at like the end of the year, for example, after fall 2019 is over,
Right.
because that's coming
Well,
up.
that's all right. But I would just say that these classic shows have more leg than the
Oh,
current shows because
yes,
we
absolutely.
we watch like how many episodes, usually like around 40, 50 episodes, as opposed to the current season, so which is on way like one core.
Right. Well, I mean, we've done some others. Kyoso Giga is going to count. That's 10.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, then we've got Lane, which was 13, and
Yep.
Ergo Proxy was 26.
Yep. And a bunch of
Uh,
manga as well.
yeah, well, only two actually.
Yep.
Flowers of Evil and High Score Girl. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And some films in there. I think we've watched 6 films,
Right. Three from
etc.
Satoshi Kon, two
Two.
from. Oh, is it two? All right, sorry. Yep, two.
Then
All
Belladonna
right.
of
Yep.
Sadness, Dead
Yep.
Leaves.
What else?
Um, I can't remember. Here, let me pull it
Right.
up. This is going to take me like 10 seconds.
All right.
Go here, click this, scroll down. Um, Angel's Egg and Night on the Galactic Railroad.
oh,
That's right. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the movies in the classic series would obviously most of those would be at the top for me.
Angel
as a
X.
well,
I can
yeah,
say
you know
Angel
I
X
didn't.
is like one of your top threes anime of all
I
times.
mean, it would it would probably be in the. I mean, I didn't like Angel's Egg very much, but I do remember a lot of images from it, and like the music I thought was really haunting and beautiful.
Yep,
What little there was, because there was a lot of silence.
yep, and the
Um,
face must like 3 4 minutes uncut. Nothing happened at all in the
yeah,
middle part.
yeah, there was some of that too. But I mean, thinking back on it, I do appreciate the artistry of it. You know, so like if I were to rank literally everything that we've watched,
Yep,
1 to let's say 50 or something like that,
yep.
because we've probably watched 50 things total, maybe a
Yep.
little less.
Hmm.
Angel's Egg would probably be in the top half.
All right.
Glad to hear that it's improving.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's been so much crap. Like, let's rewind the clock a little bit. What do we got here?
Even
Ito
it,
Junji collection.
all right,
You
we
remember?
covered that. Oh my god! All right.
Yeah, a few episodes of that. We got what else? What's some other garbage we got up here?
Uh, Kokoku from the very
Yeah, I
same
mean,
season.
Kokoku was at least interesting to talk about.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You know, there's time
Um,
travel and stuff. Oh, Zombieland
but
Saga.
I'm surprised with that.
Okay, I
Did you watch?
thought
Did you watch the whole
no,
thing?
I didn't finish it. No, when we dropped it on the podcast, I dropped it.
Right, right.
Um, Grand Blue, we dropped that pretty fast.
Oh, not good. I didn't like it at all.
I think I remember both of us being pretty positive about the first episode. Then something just happened.
Yeah, then it just keep repeating the same thing.
Yeah, pretty much. Welcome to anime comedy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess we're done with Heidi. Are we? Are we
Yep.
good?
Yeah, we are good.
All right,
All
cool.
right.
You got to go do that thing you got to do,
Yep.
and
So we.
I have to go to bed.
All right.
So what do you want to wrap it up?
Yep. So next week we're gonna see you guys for the final episodes of Mix. Um.
Probably,
Yeah, I
assuming
think.
it doesn't get delayed again.
Well, I think I saw in some comment that the last episode gonna end next week. So
Okay.
hopefully. Um. Vinland Saga, Heidi,
Yeah.
like the next 4 parts of Heidi, and the next 2 of Kyoshouya. So it's still business as usual, basically.
Yeah. Fire Force 2 probably,
Yep. Yeah, that's right. That's right. 5 4 as well.
and then the week after that we're gonna do something special.
Yep. Yep.
The
All
ranked
right.
top 50 decade thingamajig.
That's right. All right. See you guys next week.
Have a good one.